Last week I asked my subscribers for information on this plant and to choose one of three options, and the results are in. I didn't actually know what species this was. I thought maybe it was a wild privet, but it's a bushy honeysuckle, which is actually quite good for bonsai. I came up with three options. The first was to chop all the small branches off and to bend the thick ones. The second was to remove all branches except this one main thick branch. And the third was to remove all the thick branches and keep these thinner ones and use these as a clump style. It was a close one between option 2 and option 3, but in the end, option 2 won. So that's what I'm going to do today. And also, I've got a bonus tree coming later in the video. I'll just rotate the tree round so you can see it from different angles. My initial thought was to keep the thickest trunk, and I'm going to do that, but I think it does look best from this side. The first job is to remove all of these little suckers that are growing up. Get rid of all these. At this stage, I'd just like to thank everybody who commented and gave me their option. It really means a lot to have so much participation on my videos. Thank you. Back to the tree. I've got 3 small trunks that need to be removed. I could just cut them off, but what I'm beginning to think is perhaps I'd be better tearing them off to produce a more natural effect at the bottom. This might be mad, I don't know, it feels like this could be the wrong thing to do, but I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start with this branch first. As I say, I could just cut it with my cutters like that. I'm just wondering if I can peel it back with this, whether I'll get a more natural finish. That seems to have kind of worked. But not really. Yeah, that's much better. I love trying techniques like that. It didn't work, but it was definitely worth a go, I think. So what I do know now is I can just cut off the remaining 3 branches. This one can just come off like that, and then I'll just clean up the edge like that. And this one, similarly, just have one nice clean cut there. What do you think about that? I think we've made the right decision there. I'm quite happy with it. All I need to do is put some cut paste on these wounds. There's quite a few wounds around this base, so I'm pretty much going to cover quite a lot of it with this wound sealant. So I don't want any sort of disease getting in, and this seems to do a good job. I mentioned earlier about a bonus tree, so let's get it. It's another honeysuckle. When I shot the first video, I completely forgot that I did collect 2 trees at the time. This was just such a small, almost knuckle of root and a couple of sticks. I didn't give it any chance. I actually put it in this, I don't know, it's like a chip basket for putting chips in. But it's come on really well. And now I need to decide what to do with this one. Similar to the last tree, this has got a sort of knuckle at the base, but this has just got the 2 trunks coming up, which I quite like, so I want to keep these 2 trunks. And thinking about it, I really just want this to grow and to allow these to thicken. I don't really want to start cutting these back yet. Bearing in mind I didn't end up doing anything to the second honeysuckle, I don't want you to feel cheated. So I've got a third extra plant. This is a fuschia. One of my favourite channels is, you know what my memory's like by now, Back Garden Bonsai. He's got a Northern Irish accent. I love his videos, and he progresses trees through over months and years. And he's the only person I've seen doing a fuschia bonsai. And I love fuschia. So I saw this in the garden centre and I had to pick it up. This particular variety is called Mrs. Popple. The roots are really coming out of the bottom, so I definitely need to get this into a bigger pot. It's blowing a gale, so I hope that's not being picked up by my microphone, but I'm going to use my scissors now, my root pruning scissors, to just cut the bottom of the pot, roots off the bottom of the pot, and hopefully can get this out. There we go, look at that. That is root bound. Look how tightly these roots are packed in there. They're absolutely rock solid. I am going to just remove some of these ones that are spiraling around the edge. Like that. And I'll just slightly rip into that a little bit, but that'll do for now. I won't do any more. I'm just going to get that in the pot. And backfill it. Oh, this wind is crazy. It's the end of May. This is supposed to be like our nicest time of year in the UK, normally, in northern England anyway. But what can you do? There we go. Lovely. That's the tree nicely, happily repotted. Now for the structural work on this plant. I selected this. There were a choice of a few, but I liked it because I like the way the main trunk goes up and then bends across with a small branch coming off here. It's got these two lower branches and one of them has to go. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Any regular viewer knows what's coming up now. That had to go. And in for a penny, in for a pound. Last thing to go, the little mini one. I'll just spin this round for you. I anticipate it eventually being potted at that kind of angle, so there's a main trunk and a side branch. But for the time being, I'm going to leave this. I'll just add some cut paste, as always, because I do like to seal these wounds up. Really happy with that. I think that could be a good bonsai in the future. I'll just water it now, feed it for a few months, see where we are later in the year. And as always, thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon.